Have you ever shared a thought that was just a bit too real and watched the conversation quietly change direction? You brought up mortality, or meaning, or whether free will actually exists. And suddenly, everyone's clinking their glasses and pretending the guacamole is fascinating. Welcome to the secret club no one talks about, the lonely league of the deep thinker. Let's face it, thinking deeply in today's world is like bringing a philosophy book to a rave. It's not illegal, just unwanted. And no, you're not imagining things. The more you see, the less they want to hear. The sharper your perception, the duller the reception. But why? Why does intelligence, especially the uncomfortable, inquisitive, truth-seeking kind, feel like social kryptonite? Why does society, in all its tech and talk of progress, still treat deep thinkers like suspicious old wizards muttering in caves? Let's break it down. Or rather, let's philosophically dismember it. Part 1. The Curse of the Cortex. First off, let's clear the air. Being smart isn't always a blessing. Sure, it gets you scholarships, Reddit upvotes, and the occasional "wow, you're so articulate" from people who just insulted you in 5 different microaggressions. But here's the catch. The smarter you are, the less at home you feel in the world. Why? Because intelligence often comes with awareness. And awareness is a buzzkill. The kind of buzzkill that ruins Christmas dinners and Tinder dates. You start noticing the contradictions, the absurd routines, the collective denial. You start seeing life not as a feel-good rom-com, but as a dark comedy with bad lighting and questionable direction. And once you see, you can't unsee. Schopenhauer said it best: a man can do what he wants, but not want what he wants. Translation: free will is a placebo with good PR. Part 2. Society doesn't hate you. It hates what you remind it of. Here's the kicker. People don't actually dislike you. They dislike the mirror you hold up. Because deep thinkers, they reflect, not just ideas, but egos. When you speak the truth, not your opinion, not your spicy take, but truth that stings, people flinch. Not because it's false, but because it exposes the fragile scaffolding of their beliefs. You're not the enemy. You're just bad for their self-esteem. And in a world that sells self-esteem like protein shakes, you're essentially economic sabotage. So they ghost you, or laugh you off, or call you too intense. A classic favorite, right up there with overthinker and buzzkill. Part 3. Brains equals threats. Here's why evolution made it that way. Let's get primal. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, being smart didn't get you a podcast, it got you exiled. Tribes didn't need philosophers. They needed spears and strong backs. The guy sitting by the fire asking, "But what is a mammoth?" was probably the first one voted off the island. Why? Because complex thinkers disrupt harmony. They challenge stories. And humans, surprise, run on stories. Not facts, not logic, stories. And stories are fragile. Tell a tribe their rituals are meaningless, and they won't say, "Wow, that's deep." They'll say, "Get the rope." This instinct is still wired into us. Today, that rope just looks like exclusion, silence, or if you're lucky, polite eye rolls. Part 4. The Confidence Conspiracy. Here's a fun paradox. People trust confidence more than competence. In fact, social psychology has proven this over and over again. A confident idiot will often win the room over a humble genius, because certainty is soothing, and the deep thinker is rarely certain. You live in nuance. You traffic in paradox. You know that I don't know is sometimes the wisest thing a person can say. But guess what? I don't know doesn't sell tickets. It doesn't get votes. It doesn't go viral. What does? I have the answer. Click here. So the world listens to sound bites and silences the thinkers. Part 5. Why you're not broken, but the system might be. If you've ever felt like the outsider, the misfit, the too much or too deep, let me say it plainly. You're not the problem. You're just playing chess in a room full of checkers. You're asking why when everyone else is asking what's trending. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doomed to loneliness, but it does mean you'll need to choose your tribe wisely. Because while society may reward simplicity, there are still minds out there who hunger for depth. You just have to swim past the noise to find them. Part 6. A quick note on wit and the will to survive. Let's not romanticize suffering. Being an isolated intellectual isn't glamorous. It doesn't make you mysterious. It just means you're sad with good vocabulary. But you can survive it. With humor, with honesty, and with a touch of nihilistic sass. Remember, the world may not always welcome deep thinkers, but it desperately needs them. You are the soul at the edge of the firelight, the one who sees into the dark and brings back meaning. Even if they don't want to hear it, say it anyway. Because while ignorance is comfortable, awareness is freedom. And freedom, real, painful, liberating freedom, that's the one thing no one can give you. You earn it, thought by thought. So if you've ever felt too intense, too curious, too awake, congratulations. You're probably thinking just fine. And if that makes you feel alone, just remember, you're not alone. You're just early. If this resonated, give it a like, drop a comment, or share it with someone who's still trying to fit into a world not built for thinkers. This is Daily Brain Fuel, because some minds run on deeper fuel.